What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Nash, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through how I resigned from my job. And hopefully you guys can learn something from this, because this could be one of the most scariest things that you have to do, especially if you enjoy the work you do, enjoy the company you work for, you like the people that you work with, which is my case. So this was really hard to break it to them that I was going to be leaving, right? So hopefully you guys can learn something from this. And also, if you've watched my channel before, you know that I work in the insurance side of finance. I work kind of like on the back end, so dealing with all the numbers when it comes to premiums, claims, rates. You can go on when it comes to insurance. So that's kind of like what I do, and I really enjoy what I do. But I wanted to go into business consulting, which is the first step, which is essentially deciding what you want to do. You just don't want to go ahead and apply to random jobs. If you already have a job, you can be selective as to what you apply to. So for me, I made the decision that I wanted to go into business consulting, and I wanted to work for a Fortune 500 company, right? Like a global company, like a huge company. That's what I wanted to go into, because I'm coming from a mid-sized company where you kind of like have your hands in everything and working with kind of like a small team. But now I wanted to shift into business consulting and work with, larger teams, right? So I was applying to so that's the first step, which is deciding what you want to do, and to be really, really selective, right? Because you already have a job, so you're not desperate enough to apply to any random thing. Now, so that was the first step. Now, the second step is actually updating your resume. So sometimes when you get a job, you kind of like put your resume to the side, and you're like, well, I'll deal with this when I need a job. So first, you have to update your resume, because some people actually forget to update their resume with their most current position. So you have to update your resume, your LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn, make sure you update that as well. And, all right, so once I had those two things updated, I started applying for jobs on LinkedIn. I love using LinkedIn. It makes it so much easier. I only use LinkedIn, so I would apply to maybe 10 different jobs a day, or maybe 5, depending on how many opened up, as well as, I was actually applying to the jobs that I wanted. If I was applying to any job in finance, I'll probably be applying to like 50 jobs a day, right? Because there's a lot of jobs, a lot of options to pick from. So I was being selective, looking for business consulting positions at Fortune 500 companies, like huge companies, right? Global companies. That's what I was looking for. So I applied, and then a couple days later, I got an email, well, a lot of emails from recruiters, like, we like what's in your resume. I would like to do a phone screening. So a phone screening is essentially a pre-interview, right? So you have a recruiter that calls you, and they ask you questions like, they kind of like go over your resume. They're like, well, tell me about your resume. So you start explaining kind of like, your resume. And if you are working, right, this is one of the things you need to really, really remember if you forget everything else. If you already have a job and you're applying, which was my case, they're going to ask, why why are you leaving, right? Or why are you planning on leaving the company that you work at, right? So for me, I was moving from a mid-sized firm and applying to huge companies. So one of the things I would say is, I'm looking to kind of like work in a different environment, right? I enjoy what I do right now. It is a mid-sized company, and I enjoy the work that I do, but I want to go to a bigger company, right? And there's a lot more opportunities, right? So you have to be honest when it comes to this. Don't ramble about, a lot of things like, the technicals of the work or things like that. Just say there's a lot more opportunities, right? Or just say that I want to, learn more things, have a diverse set of skills from different companies, things like that. So that's what I said. I told them that I wanted more opportunities. I wanted to work for a bigger company, and that they're going to ask you a bunch of questions about what is on your resume. They're going to ask you about things that that you're looking for in your next company, things like that. So you just have to tailor those to the company that you are applying to, right? So if you're applying to, this company, and you read on their website that their core values and their mission statement, you're going to tailor to that, because you want to work for that company. So they are screening for people that they actually want to interview, right? So if you pass the phone screening, you are gonna get an email, or however, an invitation to an interview, right? So nowadays, interviews are done on Zoom. Sometimes you might be in the office, but I never had to do an office interview. All the interviews I did were on Zoom, so I got an invitation to an interview. One of the best tips that I can give you when it comes to doing an interview on Zoom is you have to dress up. you have to pretend like you're walking into the office to do an interview, right? You have to wear your suit. You have to dress up. Don't dress casual because it shows that you don't really take this seriously. And also, if you already have a job, it could be a little hard to kind of like coordinate the times of the interview and when you have to go to work. So that's where you have to use your PTO, right? If you have paid time off, you could do that, or you can call in sick, right? Or you can go in a little late. You can say I need the morning. You don't have to tell them that you're applying to different jobs. You can say I just need, I will be late today, and you do the interview. So I try to schedule my interviews in the morning because I can always go to work in the afternoon after the interview was over. So that's what I tried to do. So you really have to coordinate with, if you have PTO, if you want to call in sick, so you have to coordinate with that. All right, so let's say you finish the interview, you did very well, and a couple of days later you get an offer, which was my case. It was in 3-4 days. I did get an offer in an email, and I went through the offer to look for things I was looking for, right? So you look for things like benefits, obviously the pay, right? You're gonna be looking for the pay, so how much they're gonna pay me, and I look for the benefits that they offer, and I look for paid time off, vacation time, and things like that. You just look for things that are important to you, and you decide if you want to take the offer. So for myself, I decided that I wanted the offer, but here's the trick: do not accept it yet. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Now, let's say you have the offer. Now, the next step is going to be writing your 2 weeks notice, right? You have to have your 2 weeks notice or a resignation letter. Same thing. I'm going to put mine on the screen here so you guys can kind of like see what an example of this looks like. So this was my, resignation letter. Pretty simple and short. And one of the things you want to avoid is sending it via email. You have to like print it out, on a paper, unless they ask you to like, can you send it on an email? Then you can do that. But I always recommend having a physical copy that you can walk into your manager's office or your supervisor's office with and tell them that this is your 2 weeks notice, right? So this leads me to the next step, which is giving that to your supervisor or manager or director or whoever is above you that you have to report that to. All right, so this is probably the most scariest thing that you have to do, especially if you enjoy what you do and you like the people, you like your job, and they know that you love your job. You just have to do it. So here's how I did it. I walked in there. I have my, I folded 2 weeks notice or resignation letter, and I wanted to get it over with, right? So I walk in now, like I brought my 2 weeks notice. I was offered a position at this company, and I plan on accepting that offer. And then that's kind of like how you do it. Like you do it, you make it short and sweet and direct. And obviously, there's gonna be some follow-up questions to whoever you're talking to. They might ask you, what position did you get? You don't really have to tell them, what position you got. You don't have to do that. But if you're close enough with them, to tell them that yes, you can do it. There's no rules as to you can't tell, whatever. They might even ask, are they paying you more? Are they paying you, things like that. If you want to answer that, you can. You're not obligated to answer that. All right. So once you do that, you might get a counter offer. If the company actually values you, if they don't want to lose you, they might counter offer you. They might ask you what it's going to take for you to stay. They might give you a raise. They might even change your job in order to keep you. So that's why I say that do not accept the offer that you get from the other company right away, right? Because I'm assuming that maybe you enjoy what you're doing right now. And when you take your resignation letter to your supervisor, manager, director, and they give you a counter offer, you might even like that better than the new job, right? So if you get a counter offer, now you have two options to weigh, right? Do I want to stay here and do this and that, or do I want to take the new job? So in my case, I was gonna take the new job. I was not gonna accept any counter offer. I was gonna get one, but I did say that that was not gonna work. I was just gonna go to the new job because it's something that I actually want to do, that I want to try out and see if I like it or if I don't like it, right? So it's really important to be nice when it comes to, giving you a 2 weeks notice because you don't want to burn any bridges. You don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. You might want to go back to that company in the future, and you want to make sure that you do not burn that bridge. The last line on my resignation letter said that, please let me know what I need to do within this 2 weeks in order to make a smooth transition to whoever's going to be taking over what you were doing. All right, so that is the entire process of applying for a new job that you really want, to quitting your job or resigning from your job. And also another tip is going to be to put in those 2 weeks as soon as you can, right? As soon as you can. Do it the next day you get the offer, right? And this is because if you're applying to global companies, big companies, they have training programs, right? And they like to start them at a certain date, which is probably like a month away or 2 months away, right? So if you put in your 2 weeks, you're gonna do your 2 weeks, and you're gonna have some time off in between the end of your 2 weeks as well as the start of your training on the new company, which is what I did. So you get some time off before you start your new job. So that is pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you guys want to add anything else to this. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.